The Premier League is the best league in the world. The sheer quality of players within the league proves that fact. Premier League sides would often go out and look for world-class players to bolster their squads. But what about those players who are made world-class within Premier League academies? Today, we will be talking about those players, and we will be reordering the Premier League in order of your club's best academy player. The only stipulation is the person needs to be currently playing football, so Everton cannot use Wayne Rooney. That's not fair. They need to use someone who's currently playing football. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Now this list has a lot of surprises obviously, but one pick that I don't feel is a very big surprise is Bournemouth in 20th with Danny Ings. Now Danny Ings was never really a very special player. He wasn't a special player 5 years ago, and he definitely isn't a special player right now, only having 1 goal in 25 appearances. That's pretty bad. And I know he's kind of old, he's 31 now, and he doesn't start for West Ham, but he hasn't done really anything to prove that he should be starting for West Ham. So I feel like it's not justifiable to put him above anyone else on this list. So that's why he does claim 20th spot. He's not a horrible player by any means, he just isn't really a good one. I'd say he's kind of bad, honestly. So yeah, Danny Ings in 20th, and that's my reasoning. Luton come in at number 19 with Charlie Patino. Now this kid has loads of potential, and just based off current playing ability, I feel like he is slightly better than Danny Ings. And that's a bit harsh on Danny Ings because technically he is a Premier League striker, but he doesn't really play at a Premier League quality. And I feel like, hear me out, Charlie plays more at a Premier League quality than he does. He does play for the Arsenal Academy, but he's on loan at Swansea this season, and he has really been showing his worth there. His stats don't immediately jump out at you, but keep in mind that he is a midfielder, and what he has produced for the club so far has been pretty good. This one is based mostly off potential, a lot of potential, and I feel like in the coming seasons he's going to burst onto the scene, and we can really see him just become something better and move up this list. So yeah, Charlie comes in at number 19 for Luton. Loads of potential on this kid. Burnley are number 18, maybe unsurprisingly, with Dwight McNeil. Now Dwight McNeil isn't a bad player, let me just start off by saying that. He isn't a bad player at all. He's actually a pretty average player and a very reliable player, I would say. But given the fact that this guy has no caps for England, which is kind of unfortunate because again, he's really not a bad player. But looking at the other England players that play in his position, he just isn't as good as them. I feel like everyone above him slightly better than him in one way or another, probably more reliable, but overall, I feel like this is a good placement for him. Dwight McNeil is still a good Premier League player, but I can't really put him anywhere higher on this list. Brentford come in 17th place with Tyrick Mitchell. Now Tyrick Mitchell is overall a very good and reliable player, but I don't feel like it's justifiable to place him above anyone else. I have a good reason for placing him above Dwight McNeil, and that reason being mainly his 2 England caps. Now I know it's very unfair to Dwight McNeil because the amount of players in their given positions vary widely actually. But nevertheless, Tyrick Mitchell was still good enough to be called up to the squad and to make 2 appearances for England, one of the biggest countries in the world. So I have to give him his props, and number 17 spot, I think it's very deserved. He hasn't been bad at a club level either, so I'll say number 17 is very fair. Now in number 16, we have Crystal Palace with what I believe is a very controversial pick, Wilfried Zaha. Now guys, I think that Wilfried Zaha is a Premier League legend. I don't know about you guys, but that's my opinion. So me putting him this low was a bit difficult, but I have recognized that ever since he has left the Premier League, his playing level has regressed. And no doubt he still is very entertaining to watch, but he's getting up there in age, and the Turkish league, although being a very hard league to play in, nevertheless, is not as hard to play in as the Premier League is. A lot more quality in the Prem, and that is very obvious. Now, Wilfried Zaha isn't doing horribly at all at Galatasaray. He's actually doing pretty good. He's putting up pretty good stats, I feel. But again, he isn't playing at the level of the players above him, so it's not justifiable to put him any higher. but Wilfred Zaha still comes in at number 16, which I feel is very good for someone getting up there in age. Good job, Wilfred. Now in number 15, we have Nottingham Forest. Unsurprisingly, the first club safely outside of the relegation zone with Brennan Johnson. Now, Brennan Johnson is a very good player. He plays for Spurs currently, and I'd say he is a good Premier League player. I feel from this point up is players that are just good in the Premier League, but I feel like everyone above him does something slightly better than him or is just overall better than him. In terms of potential though, he's probably one of the highest potential players on the list, so I feel in the future he will probably break into the top 10 and maybe even into the top 5. But Brennan Johnson comes in at number 15, and I feel like this is a very safe pick for him, not controversial pick at all. Number 14 pick is Wolves with Morgan Gibbs-White. Now, Morgan Gibbs-White is a very high potential player. I personally rate him a lot, and he is a good player right now. Currently, he plays for Nottingham Forest, which are in a relegation scrap, but that doesn't say anything to his true ability. He's absolutely a great player and an entertaining player as well. I rate him a little bit more than I do Brennan Johnson, and given the fact that I said Brennan Johnson has the potential to break into the top 5 possibly, I think Morgan Gibbs-White also has the potential to at least break into the top 10. The players above him are better than him in some way or another, and he is playing for a lower tier team, so I can't really put him above them and justify it. So this is his placement, number 14, and I feel like it's very fair. Number 13 pick has to go to Newcastle. Now, if you have been following Newcastle anywhere closely this season, you will know the pick. It's Lewis Miley. This kid is absolutely phenomenal. Now, of course, this guy has loads of potential, but don't discount his current playing ability either. He's absolutely amazing. Just go watch him play. There's a reason why Newcastle fans are hyping up this kid. He really deserves all the hype. I feel like he's up there, you know? He's really talented. So, number 13 place, it's completely deserved for him in my opinion. 12th spot is Everton's spot, and this is a player that they absolutely hate, Anthony Gordon. Now look, I know you guys despise this man, but I just couldn't ignore how good he has been for Newcastle this season. He's been absolutely phenomenal in Newcastle colours, and although Everton fans do hate him, and I know I wanted to put Wayne Rooney here too, it's against the rules. So Anthony Gordon takes up the spot for Everton. 12th spot is not too bad, and Anthony Gordon also has a lot of potential ahead of him too, and based off how he's playing, if he does fulfill that potential, he can be absolutely world class. Unfortunate for Everton fans, this is their best player that came out of their academy. It is what it is. 11th place is Fulham, and they are represented by Harvey Elliott. Now Harvey Elliott to me is the definition of an underrated player. Loads of potential within the Premier League, and he has been really good for Liverpool this season whenever he's relied upon. He has a good amount of goals and assists, and considering that he's playing from the central attacking midfield role, even more so. Although I don't think he has as high of a ceiling as the players that I have mentioned before, like Patino and Lewis Miley, still a baller. Really one to look out for in the future, and one who is currently really good. 11th place, fully deserved. Ladies and gentlemen, we have finally broken into the top 10, and this is where the list starts to get excited. Aston Villa coming at number 10 with Jack Grealish. Now, Jack Grealish is a world-class player, and although a lot of people have their opinions split on him, some people think he's truly world-class, and others think that he's not that good at all. I am one of those people who think he is world-class. He does exactly what Pep requires of him, and that is why he is a mainstay in this City team. I believe that Jack Grealish can do a lot on the football field and can contribute a lot. Although his stats don't reflect that, he is still an absolutely phenomenal player. So he comes in here and he is representing Aston Villa's academy. I feel like this one is very deserved. Jack Grealish, take a bow. At number 9, we have our first Big Six club, and that club is Manchester United with Marcus Rashford. Now I know Kobbie Mainoo is in strong contention for this pick right now, but I personally think that Marcus Rashford is still a little bit better. And when I say a little bit better, I mean like a teeny tiny bit better than him. Last season, for a period of time, I genuinely believe that he was the best player in the world. I think it was after the World Cup. He was absolutely on fire. And that's when he started doing the mentality celebration. absolutely prime Marcus Rashford. He was absolutely amazing back then. If he can bring out that playing ability again, I can justify putting him higher on the list. But at the ability he's currently playing out right now, which is not very good, to be honest, he's not having the best of seasons, he can settle for ninth. Still a good placement, I feel, and Marcus Rashford is just genuinely an amazing player. Kobe Mayu is very strongly contending for this spot, and I just want to say that it's almost there. But for now, Marcus Rashford takes the ninth spot. Coming in at number 8, we have Brighton, and Brighton don't come in with Evan Ferguson, but in fact with Ben White. Now, Ben White is an integral part of the Arsenal team that are currently pushing for the Premier League title. He's one of the best defenders in the league, even though he's playing out of position at right back right now. He's also a mainstay in the England national team. He's called up all the time, and he is always performing very well for them. Overall, I just feel like this guy is very reliable and very underrated, and I really do think that he is more important to that Arsenal team than Evan Ferguson is to Brighton, and overall, he's just a better football player in general. So Ben White, take a bow, this is your spot. Now, number 7, we have a very controversial pick, and that is Liverpool with Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, Trent Alexander-Arnold is a world-class player. I feel like anyone who tries to debate that is kind of dumb, because the guy is just really, really good. His output in assists is absolutely insane and probably unseen by a defender ever before. But in his position that he does play, which is right back, not central midfield, at least not yet, he does lack a few qualities, namely his defending. His defending is lacking, and that is clear to see. He focuses on the attacking side of the game more than the defending side, so I can't really put him any higher. And when you see the players that I do have above him, I think you will agree with this pick. I can see how this can still be a little bit controversial, but to be fair, coming 7th in a list of 20 players is just absolutely insane, and it just goes to show how good the Premier League is that a world-class player like Trent is coming in 7th. But enough said, let's move on to the next pick. 6th place, we have another Big 6 club, and that club is Chelsea, who come in with Reece James. Now, Reece James is always injured. This guy's legs are literally made out of string cheese. But it's undeniable that when he is fit, he is top 3 right backs in the world. He's absolutely phenomenal. This guy shows his class again and again, and we can see why he's Chelsea's captain. His mentality and playing ability are worlds above a lot of other players in the Premier League. So this guy deserves the 6th spot. And I will tell you right now that I am the biggest Chelsea clowner, but class cannot be ignored. And he honestly fully deserves this spot. Good job, James. By far, and I mean by far, the most surprising pick for me this video has been the number 5 pick. Sheffield United coming with Kyle Walker. Now, apart from Kyle Walker, there were actually a lot of other players that I could have chosen who would have probably broken into the top 10, such as Ramsdale and Harry Maguire. The fact that Sheffield United sit bottom of the Premier League and are still able to produce such talent, or were able to produce such talent, is actually crazy. But enough said about Sheffield United. Let's talk about Kyle Walker. Absolutely phenomenal player. Me personally, I think he's the best right back in the world right now, and I feel like he has been for a while now. Last season, at 31 or 32, he pocketed one of the best left wingers in the world in the Champions League, and that just goes to show his class. Treble winning captain of Man City at this point, Kyle Walker fully deserves this spot. 4th place, Arsenal, and Arsenal of course come in with Bukayo Saka. Now, I think we all knew that Saka would make it top 5 on this list even before the video even started, but the question is, what place would he rank? And unfortunately for Arsenal fans, he just misses out on the top 3. But I do have something that will console you guys in the next pick, Arsenal fans, but I think I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Saka is obviously world class. He's honestly top 5 best right wingers in the world right now, and probably top 5 best young players in the world right now too. He's Arsenal star boy, and he's Arsenal star boy for a reason. He's fast, he's skillful, and overall just a joy to watch. So Bukayo Saka, number 4 is your spot. We've finally broken into the top 3, ladies and gentlemen, and we have another current Arsenal player, former West Ham player, Declan Rice. Now, Declan Rice has been absolutely phenomenal this season, somehow managing to justify his over 100 million price tag that Arsenal paid for him in the summer. Now, to me, doing that is crazy, but he is being compared to Rodri as one of the best CDMs in the world. Now, me personally, I think Rodri is still a little bit better, but Declan Rice is still a very close number 2. Technically gifted and dominant as ever, you don't have to watch Declan Rice play for too long to understand why he is so special. Absolutely integral to that Arsenal team that are currently pushing for the title, and I think that he's their best and most important player. Declan Rice, number 3. Now it's time for our second place, and what feels like the first time in forever, City are here with Phil Foden. Now, Phil Foden is an absolutely amazing player. I feel like personally he has been the best player in the Premier League this season, and I can even go so far as to say that he's been the best player in the world for the last few weeks. He has stepped in for Kevin De Bruyne during his injury and has absolutely shined. 2 Premier League hat-tricks this season alone and an absolute screamer against Real Madrid, and this guy is in flying form. Now, even before this season, Phil Foden would show his class, but now that he is really being given minutes, we are really getting to see the true potential of Phil Foden, and the scary thing is he hasn't yet reached his peak. A lot of potential still left in Phil Foden, but I feel like right now he deserves this number 2 spot fully. Guys, we have finally made it to our number 1 on the list. It is not the history of the Tottenham, but they do come in first with Harry Kane. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Harry Kane has finally won something. But all jokes aside, Harry Kane really is a player who needs no introduction. The guy's absolutely world class and debatably England's greatest ever player. It's so sad to see him not be able to win a trophy. I mean, the guy moved to a team that always wins trophies and somehow still managed to not win a trophy. The guy's actually cursed, but although Bayern have been absolutely horrible and kind of looking like they're having a stopgap season, Harry Kane does not look that way at all. His output has continued. Never mind continued, his output has grown. This guy has become better somehow, and whichever team you are, Harry Kane will find you, he will step on your pitch, and he will score against you. Now, will he win? Probably not. Bayern are horrible. But he will score. And Harry Kane, honestly, it's so sad to see him never win a trophy. But at least he can find solace in the fact that he does come number 1 on this list and finally help Tottenham win something. Good job, Harry Kane. You're a winner in my book. Alright, guys. This is the end of the video. I'm going to try not to edit this as much as possible because I just want this to be a one-on-one talk. Thank you so much for watching this far into the video. If you did make it this far into the video though, please do me a solid and leave a like and subscribe. We'll try to build a community here, and you can join that community by just leaving a like and subscribe. And it would really help and support the channel. Really give me motivation to make more of these for you guys. Yeah, if you have any other players that you'd like to enter to this list or just rearrange the list, please leave that down below. I know I could have added Palmer, Musiala, Rice to Chelsea. So, yeah. But that's the video, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. Peace.